Hey all you salty sea dogs, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Pikachu only challenge in Pokemon Gold. As a reminder, the rules for this challenge are that I am only allowed to battle with Pikachu. I am allowed to use HM mules, must complete every gym, Elite Four member, and champion in the game. I cannot evolve Pikachu, and I can only use one Pikachu, which is the starting Pikachu. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and also leave comments down below of any rules that you think I should add to the next challenge. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Recapping what happened last time, we just beat the first gym, which is flying type, and now we're headed to Sprout Tower, which the legend has it, according to Bulbapedia, that a 100-foot Bellsprout was used to make the tower, and now it's inhabited by all these monks that are training these Bellsprouts and the occasional Hoot Hoot. We have to go through this tower because we get Flash once we beat the main guy. So it's important that we go through this tower. And Flash is actually one of the few that Pikachu can learn from the HM department. But we're gonna grab a new HM mule later on that'll also be able to use it because Flash isn't that powerful of a move. So yeah, the leader, he has a Bellsprout, obviously. And these aren't too difficult. We just use quick attack twice and it's dead. So, and then he has another Bellsprout, so once again, strategy is just quick attack, quick attack. Throughout the Sprout Tower, we picked up Paralysis, Heal, an X Defend, a Potion, and Escape Rope. So those will be useful later on when I'm battling. And then yeah, the last Pokemon that the leader has is a Hoot Hoot, which is a flying type. So my Thunderbolt's super effective, but we come dangerously close to fainting for the first time. But we get out of it, and we're through the tower. So, like I said, the monk gives us Flash, which will be useful later on for Dark Cave, so I can see better. And I already picked up the escape rope that was to the right of him, so that's what we'll use to get out of it instead of just traveling back down. And then yep, that's pretty much everything with Sprout Tower. Very interesting place, kind of a cult-like following, if you will. Yep, we just use the escape rope. I mean, it's not that big of a tower, but much easier. And then we're just gonna head straight to the Poke Center because we came very close to fainting there. And yep, that's pretty much about it for that. Right, and then as we leave, I realize that we need to talk to this professor here because, but going back to the Professor Elm's beginning, whatever that was, he's now asking us to hold an egg for him, which we'll hatch later, but obviously we can't use the Togepi that hatches from it because it is not a Pikachu and I'm not allowed to use anymore. But yeah, we pick up a Miracle Seed, a Potion, a Great Ball, and then a second Potion in this route that we go on as we head towards the second gym. Knock out some Fishermen on the way. This one has 4 Magikarps, so it's very easy, but Thunder Shock is a very powerful move to have early on. And then yep, we just absolutely murder everybody in here. But then we get to this cave. This was one of the most challenging caves to deal with because it's all rock types, rock and ground. So Pikachu isn't able to use Thunder Shock, and using like Quick Attack and Tackle throughout this entire thing are just very time consuming, and so that's where the Onix came very close to ending my deathless streak at this point. But we get a little bit cocky and we go and we're just using a potion and moving on. I'm just kind of hoping that we don't have another Onix, and we get 2 Geodudes, so we're able 3 Geodudes, so we're able to get through it fairly easily. And then I decide it's probably smart just to go back to the Poke Center. But this route's, and this cave specifically, kind of difficult. Well, at least the Onix was. The rest of it wasn't much. And during our cave experience, we pick up a potion, an X attack, a Great Ball, and an Awakening. We pick up a berry here. But now we come to my first fainting experience. This trainer here is not a good trainer to be fighting with a Pikachu. He has a Geodude and a Machop. This Geodude has Rock Throw. Rock Throw absolutely murders my Pikachu. So this is our first extremely challenging battle of the run thus far. I've got a couple close calls, but this is the one that I just couldn't beat. It's just not equipped. See, Rock Throw, and we have our first fainting experience. So after our first fainting experience, it would be smart if I just would avoid the battle. And that is not what I do. I just think, what if I put an X attack on it? And we do get past the Geodude with that. But then we go to the Machop, hoping for a miracle. We do maybe half, and then we die for the second time. So, at this point, I'm kind of just over it. And we have to run through the cave again for the third time, and I just avoid it. And we buy some super potions just to replenish our stash. And then I go into this forest. I think I got a revive, which doesn't help at all. And then we talk to this man right here, Kurt. Kurt is a ball maker, and he hates Team Rocket. And this is our first introduction to Team Rocket in this game. Which, yeah, supposedly they disbanded because Giovanni's gone, but they're selling Slowpoke tails, which I think I encountered one of the sellers earlier on in the game. I can't remember, but I just pick up a berry and we're gonna go experience our first Team Rocket battle with Kurt, who's an absolute G. He's goated. So yeah, we head over to that well-looking thing that we just passed by when we were buying super potions, but Kurt is also down here. Unfortunately, Kurt hurt his back because he fell down the well, so we're fighting them on our own. But this Team Rocket, and honestly the Team Rocket throughout the entire game, is not much of a challenge for Pikachu. As you can see, I just kind of speed this up. We murder almost every Pokemon they have. We pick up a super potion that's there, but we go through all of them fairly quickly. There wasn't a really interesting battle as we finish off the last one here. Grow to level 19, which, I mean, part of this challenge that makes it not quite as fun as maybe something else, or challenging, is that we're able to over level. Maybe I'll add a level cap next time. Or if you have any ideas of how to make it more challenging, just put them in the comments below. But I don't know, that's kind of the easiest part, is we can level them up like really high, and then we don't really have to deal with anything. But we finally get to the second gym, which is a bug type gym. Also not incredibly challenging for Mr. Bart to go through. The hardest Pokemon that we dealt with was a Beedrill going up to Bugsy, who's the gym leader. So this battle isn't incredibly difficult. As you can see, Bugsy has a Metapod, a Kakuna, and a Scyther. So this won't be a hard gym at all, because we can just use Thunderbolt to kill every single Pokemon in at least 2 shots. So that's basically kind of our goal to beat this gym here. We start with the Thunder Shock against Metapod. Metapod has Harden. Very useless Pokemon. Not much going for it, but we just use a quick attack because he got speed. But unfortunately, that does not kill, and we have to quick attack again. But he only did 3 damage, which is about on par with what a Metapod does. Reminds me of that one Smosh video with the 99 Metapod. And then it potions right at the end. But yeah, we get through Metapod fairly easily. 216 experience points. Then Kakuna's next. And it's more Thunder Shocking. Thunder Shock's such an OP move to begin this game with. I mean, Flying and Bug aren't too hard. He hits us with a Poison Sting. We avoid the poison. And we just finish him off. I'm a little afraid to do a quick attack again after that last time. And we get rid of Kakuna, 213 experience points. So we are getting pretty close. Scyther. Scyther is the last Pokemon with Thunder Shock. Scyther is one of my favorite Pokemon. I think it's one of the coolest Pokemon. But yeah, good thing for Pikachu here, because Scyther is flying as well as Bug. So we 2-shot it with the Thunderbolt, and that would be the second gym. We're level 21 now, leaving the second gym, and Bugsy is defeated. So, not too difficult of a gym. We don't really struggle too much. We get the Hive badge, and something that's interesting in this game, I don't know if this is in all of the games, but the badges let you give you things like perks. We are able to use Cut because of it now, and then we also get Fury Cutter, but that's not going to be useful for us. Pikachu doesn't know how to learn it. And so, basically Cut's the main thing. But before we leave, we've got another rival battle. Let's go. The strategy for this battle, as you can see, he will have a Ghastly, a Zubat, and a Croconaw. Basically the same strategy we've had for every single battle. Just spam Thunder Shock and get through it. So yep, our rival Bobby wants to fight again. He's got Ghastly. Obviously not a difficult Pokemon to face, because Thunder Shock absolutely drills every single Pokemon early on. And we one-shot him, critical hit. So, easy first Pokemon. He sends out Zubat, Flying type, Thunderbolt. It's not incredibly amazing analysis, but there's not much to analyze here. Those Pokemon are just murdered. And then Croconaw, like I said, one of the benefits of me picking to replace Cyndaquil was that he would end up with Croconaw, and we one-shot Croconaw on a critical hit. So we one-shot every single one of Bobby's Pokemon, and we get a buttload of experience from it. Which, Bobby is a total win bag, so I don't really care. I hate the weak. The weak shall quiver when the nice guy gets angry. But, yeah. it's not too difficult of a rivalry battle. So we head into the forest. Then we talk to this guy. He's talking about how his Farfetch'd ran away from him and the Elix forest. So we go and chase it around for a bit, beat the occasional Oddish before returning it back to him. And then we go and talk to his boss, who just happened to show up for some reason. And then we get a very important HM of Cut, which leads us to needing to get our first HM Mule. Because Pikachu can't learn Cut. Cut's not that great of a move. So I kind of go around, almost encounter that one trainer again before I figure out. We'll just go into the forest again, and I find a Paris. And Paris works perfectly here. It can learn Cut, so we just try to catch it and teach it to him. What I should have done, thinking back to this, was probably find the best Pokemon that could learn the most HMs, so I wouldn't have to get as many as I do in this series. But other than that, I think, I don't know, overall I did a pretty good job. But first Pokeball breaks out because Paris just is a little rat, so we go another great ball. And a 1, a 2, a 3, and we got him. So that's our first HM Mule. He will be cut for us. I name him HM as well, just so I don't get confused and leave him in, which I don't know how I get confused, but you know, you never really know. It's kind of weird. Paris' little figure up there in left. It looks like he's flying. But yeah, we teach him Cut. And then we pass by where Mew is. I never really go back and get any of these legendaries. We also pick up Sweet Scent from that lady. Not sure it needs to be picked up, but we do. And we fight some more trainers. And then I realize after fighting these trainers that there's a guy back there. So I go back, kill a couple more Oddishes and a Zubat, and then talk to him. He gives me Headbutt, which also isn't very useful, but in this game it's way more useful than the other Pokemon games, because you can headbutt trees. I'm not sure if you can really, I think you can in other games though. But then our egg hatches. There's Togepi, which that whole storyline is completely optional, and so we don't give him a nickname. We just kind of go on with our lives. And we talk to the officer, and we fight some more Pokemon. We put both HM and Togepi in the box as we run around aimlessly. And then we find the store, which is very, very, very important as we purchase Thunder Punch, which will be one of the most important moves that we will have in this entire game. Because Thunder Punch is probably one of the most powerful moves that Pikachu can learn. And it's just mind-blowing how useful this move ends up being. This Bart's able to learn it, and he's about to crush some more poor Pokemon that have to deal with it. I take out Double Team because we don't really need to be too elusive. I would feel like we probably could have kept it, but we don't need to be that incredibly elusive because Pikachu's already faster than most of the Pokemon. So that's where we will end today. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, consider subscribing and leaving a like. And like I said below, leave some comments about how to make this series better. See ya!